Now at 5, we'll learn about 2 school bonds going before voters in Uniontown next month. Plus, how a donation from the Arvest Foundation is benefiting a local education center, and
Israel expands its ground operations in Gaza, moving more tanks and troops into Palestinian territory. I'm Tina Kraus with the push to bring hostages home 3 weeks into this war.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A former Miami, Oklahoma school teacher is charged with a federal sex crime involving a juvenile. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Court documents indicate 54-year-old Ronald Sanders had sexual contact with a 14-year-old girl in northeast Oklahoma this month. The filings allege the girl met Sanders when he was a Miami, Oklahoma public school teacher last school year. Sanders' Facebook profile indicated he'd been teaching this year at Hickman Mills Middle School near Kansas City. He now faces federal charges for travel with the intent to engage in illicit sexual conduct. Bourbon County, Kansas voters will decide whether to raise property taxes in support of the Uniontown School District. 2 propositions on the November 7th ballot impact local schools. One would allocate more than $5 million for storm shelters, upgrading offices and classrooms, and other improvements. The second would give nearly $3.5 million for specialized facilities, including an ag science classroom and metal shop. The district superintendent says both proposals focus on safety and educational opportunities.
We're good stewards of the resources we have, and these are quite old facilities. They look nice and are well maintained, and so obviously we hope the new construction trades opportunities and the new preschool, that those are things that can last for generations and have an impact for a very, very long time.
Whether it's yes or no, it's okay. At least gives us an idea of maybe what's important and what's not. And if it's a yes, that's great. We're going to start construction and we're going to improve our school. If it ends up being a no, no big deal. We just go back to the drawing board and make sure the needs of the students are going to be met.
About 500 students attend the Uniontown School District. We want to hear the residents' thoughts on this. If you want to share what you think about it, just go to our Facebook page. The Arvest Foundation is funding local education. The foundation today donated $10,000 to the Community Support Services of Missouri Early Learning Center in Webb City. The center is a preschool that serves children with developmental delays and disabilities.
We've expanded our kitchen. We'll be investing in a new playground area for our students. We are going to look at doing some reconfiguration of classrooms to make the educational experience a lot more meaningful and a lot more beneficial. There's lots of needs in this building and this facility, so our students are going to benefit from it in lots of different ways.
The Early Learning Center is at 1401 West Austin in Webb City. Both the rain and the temperature are falling. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, big changes for us today. Earlier today, mid-morning, we were into the lower 70s. Cold front rolled through, had some showers, even a couple thunderstorms. Now, since then, it's cold, it's windy, a little bit of drizzle, so watch out for that. And that's all I really expect through the evening hours. But look at that. We're sitting into the 40s right now. Our front now pushing south central parts of Missouri. So we have some light drizzle, really doesn't get picked up on the radar, and that's what we're going to expect tonight. But look at this, 48 Stockton, 46 in Pittsburgh, 51 Chanute, Grand Lake sitting at 50 degrees. And look at this cold air from the northern plains slamming south, and that's what we're going to deal with this weekend. Also, it's breezy. We have those northwesterly winds kicking in at about 10 to 20. Rain picks up through the weekend. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Catch in a few. Authorities in Maine have lifted a shelter-in-place order as they search for the suspect in the Lewiston massacre. It's day 2 of the multi-state search for a U.S. Army reservist who police say shot and killed 18 people. Law enforcement officials have turned their focus to a local boat dock after a car belonging to suspect Robert Card was found there. The Israeli military says it's expanding its ground operation tonight, a signal of the threatened ground invasion. This as casualties in Gaza grow. Tina Kraus has the latest from Tel Aviv, where people are still awaiting the return of more than 200 hostages.
Explosions punctuate the night sky along Israel's border with Gaza, as an Israeli military spokesman promises an expanding ground operation Friday night. Two U.S. officials tell CBS News that announcement appears to be a rolling start to the ground invasion. Israeli soldiers conducted a targeted raid in the southern Gaza Strip overnight, with Navy vessels and aircraft striking suspected Hamas military compounds. Come daylight, giant plumes of black smoke were seen over the Gaza skyline. Day 21 of this war, and the destruction seems endless. An Israeli airstrike hit a residential building Friday. This Palestinian woman said she was sitting with children drinking tea when it happened. An aid convoy from the International Committee of the Red Cross finally moved from Egypt through the Rafah crossing into Gaza.
We also have a team of specialists who are about to enter, including surgeons and other medical teams.
Nearly 3 weeks after the Hamas massacre, this Shabbat table set in Tel Aviv remains empty. Each of these seats represents one of the more than 200 people still held captive in Gaza.
I'm hoping that the hostages will come back. I hope very soon.
Volunteers handed out yellow ribbons expressing solidarity with the hostages. Israelis we spoke with say everyone feels the pain from the October 7th attack.
Everyone in Israel know people who knows people that are kidnapped or murder.
Nothing's going to stop this other than peace.
A peace that seems very far out of reach. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says the U.S. would support a pause to get humanitarian aid, fuel, and electricity in Gaza. The U.S. launched airstrikes against targets in Syria overnight. The move was in retaliation for a series of rocket and drone attacks on U.S. soldiers in Syria and Iraq. Biden administration officials say the attacks against U.S. forces are being carried out by Iranian-backed militants and are being done as a result of the U.S. involvement in Israel's war against Hamas. Still ahead, dealing with an emotional toll.
Coping with the stress of breast cancer. I'm Cristian Benavides with one survivor's story and the skills she's learned to navigate the emotional toll.
And how an amino acid might be linked to whether someone develops long COVID symptoms. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, doctors say they've found an amino acid that could play a role in which people will develop long COVID. Researchers from the University of Alberta studied COVID patients and discovered people with low levels of taurine were more likely to be hospitalized or die from COVID. People with high levels of taurine, which the liver produces and is found in meat and fish, had lesser symptoms. The findings could lead to better treatments for COVID. There are 4 million breast cancer survivors in the U.S. That's according to the American Cancer Society. And many might not only live with the disease, but also with the anxiety that goes along with it. During this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Cristian Benavides shows us why stress management is so important.
For breast cancer survivor Isabel Ramos Toca, healing includes tea time.
It's the time that I stopped and nothing mattered except that collecting myself.
It's one of several strategies she's put into practice after participating in a 10-week study on stress management at the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center at the University of Miami.
Here I found a voice. When I'm going to be in a stressful situation, how to catch my thoughts. It really gave me an outlet as to all the emotions.
The program for cancer survivors involves support groups that meet virtually. Patients learn coping skills, breathing techniques, along with other ways to reduce stress.
They show reductions in stress hormones, such as cortisol.
Dr. Michael Antoni says managing stress can even lead to better outcomes for patients. Reducing stress hormones can lower inflammation and produce a better immune response.
They have a longer period of time before they have a recurrence and a longer survival time.
Every week on Wednesday for an hour and a half, it was like amazing.
Toca says the skills she's honing, such as yoga, which she picked up from the program, have helped her regain control of her life.
You don't have to be in a dark hole. You don't have to feel that you're a victim.
She's now cancer-free and hoping to help more survivors find their peace. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Doctors say they're finding the program can help participants deal with anxiety, depression, and distress long after cancer treatment. Scientists have found a genetic link between irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, and endometriosis. A study of University of Queensland study showed women with endometriosis are twice as likely to have IBS. Both illnesses are painful and difficult to diagnose. Doctors hope the link can help improve treatment and diagnosis in the future. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, we're going to have some tips so you can go all out for Halloween without using up your bank account.
Plus, temperatures continue to drop over the week and also the rain picks up. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, we started the day in the 70s during the morning hours. Strong cold front rolled through, our first strong cold front of the fall season. Temperatures tumbled about 25 degrees throughout the day. The clouds, we had some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms earlier today, but since that point in time, it's mainly cloudy and some drizzle out there, so be careful if you're going to be on the roadways tonight. Nice shot, cloudy shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Look at these temps: 46 Nevada, 50 in Anderson, 49 Miami. Pittsburgh is sitting at 46 degrees. We can look at 7th and Rangeline. You can see that drizzle out there. Sitting at 47, northerly winds at 10. Makes it feel like it's 42 degrees. And look at this cold air from the northern plains diving south. You can definitely see where that front is right across northwestern Arkansas. So we're going to be chilly or cool as we go through the weekend. Also, those northerly winds make it feel a little bit colder. So north winds at about 10 to 20. Now at times we've had gusts kind of 20 upwards of 25. It's going to stay breezy as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Northeasterly winds, gusts right around 15 miles per hour. Much of the same tomorrow afternoon, and then actually increase a little bit by the time we head into Sunday. So not only is it going to be cold, it's going to feel even colder with the winds. Now, if you're heading out this evening, high school football, bundle up. Sitting mid to upper 40s, clouds, windy, and that drizzle across the region. But that's really all we're going to see tonight. We're not really going to get any rain in here. But if we look south, you can see that moisture picking up across parts of Texas. This is going to lift north, combine with this wave across the northern plains, and that should give us a pretty rainy weekend. Tonight, again, just the drizzle. Tomorrow afternoon, rain chances increase through tomorrow night, and our best chances for rain are going to be during the daytime hours on Sunday. All right, let me walk you through your weekend. Clouds tonight, temperatures kind of hold mid-40s, periods of drizzle. As we go through the morning hours, drizzle, we warm near 50. So if you're heading out to Pitt State homecoming game, we're going to be in the upper 40s, drizzle during the afternoon, increasing to showers by the end of the game. Periods of showers tomorrow evening, maybe even a rumble of thunder. So we're stopping Sunday morning, 1 a.m. Make it a little bit of a lull Sunday morning, and then here comes steady rain again throughout the day on Sunday. I want you to notice this. This pink, Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, that's a little bit of sleet trying to mix in north of the I-44 corridor as we get into Sunday evening. Look at this. Temperature sitting into the 30s. We drop into the 20s by the time we head into Monday morning. Rainfall not super heavy, but persistent. And I think a lot of areas, quarter, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. So at least some decent amounts of rain. If we break down the weekend, 52 tomorrow, only 41 for a high by the time we head into Sunday afternoon. Big switch, 52 tomorrow, 41 on Sunday. 29 Monday morning, our first hard freeze. 43 on Monday, 27 Tuesday morning. We have 3 nights in a row. Temperatures are going to be into the 20s, but sunshine returns tomorrow, or next week, slow warming trend.
What I did this morning?
What's that?
Hauled in plants off the patio.
That was a smart idea.
Well, it was a necessary idea. Smart, I don't know. It means that we'll have to try to keep them alive for another year, I guess. Thanks, Doc. Hey, one of Mexico's most famous resort cities is devastated after Hurricane Otis. The Category 5 storm made landfall near Acapulco early Wednesday, killing at least 27 people. It also damaged 80% of the area's hotels, and hundreds of thousands of people are still without power and other basic services. Residents are frustrated that 48 hours after devastating rains, sustained winds of 165 miles an hour, crumpled buildings and flooded streets, authorities haven't accomplished more. Coming up, how Airbnb is trying to crack down on Halloween parties at its listings. Topping today's Consumer Watch, oil and gas company BP is buying $100 million worth of electric vehicle chargers from Tesla that'll be used for its own charging network. The superchargers will not look like other Tesla chargers. They're going to be branded with a BP Pulse logo. Installation of the chargers will begin next year at various BP-owned locations and some third-party locations like Hertz Car Rentals. More Americans than ever are celebrating Halloween this year, and they're spending a record-breaking amount of money on the spooky holiday. Reporter Cole Higgins has 5 tips to celebrate without scaring your budget.
A spooky and pricey holiday. Total Halloween spending is expected to reach a record $12.2 billion this 2023. That's according to an annual survey from the National Retail Federation. But experts say you can still have a fun All Hallows Eve without overspending.
Well, you definitely want to be the house with the good candy, right?
Jessica Allen from Living Well Spending Less has 5 tips to help you save money. The first step is to make a budget and stick to it.
It doesn't take a lot of time to do this, 10, 15 minutes.
According to the NRF survey, the average consumer plans to spend a record $108.24, and the biggest increase in spending came from costumes. To save, Allen recommends reaching out to your community on social media or within your neighborhood and swapping costumes.
There is no reason that you can't go cheaper or even no cost at all on costumes.
When it comes to candy, Allen says don't wait until the last minute to shop to avoid impulsively buying items right off the shelf. The NRF says total spending on decorations is expected to reach nearly $4 billion this year. So how do you trim that cost?
Resist the urge to get into a decor contest in your neighborhood. Use what you have. Don't go overboard.
And if you're hosting a Halloween party, go potluck.
Who can get the snacks? Who can get the ice? Who can get the drinks? Combine those receipts and split the cost evenly.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
Now, ahead of Halloween, Airbnb is using artificial intelligence to crack down on disruptive and unauthorized parties this weekend. Yeah, the company says its state-of-the-art system works to prevent certain potentially higher-risk 1- and 2-night whole home bookings. The AI-driven anti-party system looks at hundreds of signals that could indicate a higher risk for a disruptive or unauthorized party, which would be kind of scary. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman takes us on the road with a man who defied the odds to become an all-star athlete, then aimed to soar even higher. And then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on 2 school bonds going before voters in Uniontown, Kansas. Plus, how a beverage bottling manufacturer in Joplin is expanding its footprint in the city. It means more jobs. And some big high school football games across the area tonight. We're going to hear from the head coach of the Wyandotte team ahead of their game against Quapaw. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. All right, take a look. Dogs in colorful costumes are out in full force together with their owners at Key West Fantasy Fest Pet Masquerade. Canines donned costumes of unicorns and sailors and rock musicians, among others. Yeah, what is that? I'm not sure, but that's among the others apparently. Many of the duos pay tribute to the musician Jimmy Buffett, who passed away early last month and who is widely regarded as a local legend on the island. Looking good.
They are. I don't know if my dogs would appreciate getting dressed up, but yeah, they're looking pretty good.
They're living in Key West.
That's
they can't complain too much.
That is
Put up with the costume, dog.
Back here, not in Key West, it's cold, raw, and rainy this weekend. High temp of only 52 tomorrow, only 41 on Sunday.
Get out the sweatshirts. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we'll be right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.